Hi everyone, this is a general reading for all signs. This transmission will be regarding the moon cycle from April 5th, it's the new moon on April 5th, to the full moon on April 19th. So I'm going to use the Voyager deck for the first part of the reading and do a holographic mandala spread to give a general transmission for all signs for this time period to help understand what energies are at play and what forces are working so that we can best know how to rise up to meet the energies that we're dealing with. And after I've done the general reading, I'm going to take the Morgan Greer deck and do a couple of card pulls for each sign to give a little bit more specific information about what each sign will be dealing with during this time period. So settle in with me, grab a cup of tea, set aside anything that you're doing so you're not multitasking, and take a moment here while I'm shuffling to tune in with your higher self and your guides and ask them to check in with me and my higher self and my guides so that we can create a feedback loop to get you really clear and relevant messages that are tailored especially for you. Wow. Well, I'll start talking in a second, but I'm loving the energy that I'm getting off these cards right away. Okay, so what I'm feeling here, my first impression as the cards are going down is that there's definitely a lot of release energy here. There's a lot of what feels like purging and releasing energy, in particular with regards to thought forms or ideas or concepts with regards to how we present ourselves as people who are in service. So we have here the Woman of Wands and the Woman of Worlds in the central position of the reading and as the crowning card, and it's crossed by the Ace of Cups. At the foundation we have 10 of Crystals in reverse. So on this central axis of the reading, I feel like there is a call here for, it feels like kind of specific to healing energy, like people who, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean, people who present themselves in the world as professional healers, because all of us have healing qualities and healing ability in a way, and it simply means, I guess, working with life force energy in a way to kind of restore ourselves to our wholeness, to our fullest potential, and that's what everyone who's working in the area of consciousness is doing. So essentially we're all healers, whether or not we work professionally in that way or not. But what I feel is here is that there is like ideas that need to be shed, concepts that need to be shed with regard to what healing is and how healing works is what I feel. Like the energy of martyrdom and servitude and sacrifice and because we have the Hangman here in this position of the outcome. It's with the Devil's Play card in this deck, Devil in the other decks, with the Ace of Crystals. So my feeling here with this energy is that it's about releasing the idea that we need to be kind of prisoners of our own path in a way. That's what I feel. It's like you may choose to take on a path of service and healing work with your life in the direction that you wish to take your life, but this feeling I have here is that it's about releasing this idea of it being about you martyring yourself to a cause or you being saintly in a certain way, because I think what's coming through here is that there's this feeling or idea that we're all equal, and regardless of who's doing what and how they present themselves in the world, there's no, like, it's not about putting people on pedestals and okay, like the guru kind of consciousness that has been. I feel like we're moving into a different era where, I mean, YouTube's the perfect example for that. Like, everyone has a platform where they can share their ideas and it'll be relevant and helpful to someone. It may not be right in the like, truest sense of like the most evolved, but some information will be relevant to some people and it could help them. The point I'm making here is that I feel like with the energy that I'm feeling from the cards here, it's about transitioning away from certain types of servitude and certain types of, like an attitude of martyrdom that some people who may have been working in the healing arts have been carrying. And I think what that feels like as well is like a sense of as a release from a binding energy and more of a freedom and a liberation for expression in all the ways that are authentic and real. Devil with the Ace of Crystals. So I want to work my way around here and get into a little bit more detail. But yeah, that idea of shedding, like you have here in the position of the past, Eight of Cups in reverse in this deck, it's called stagnation. So I feel like that energy with this Ten of Crystals in reverse and the Hangman in reverse, these are all giving me this feeling of like what is old will not be new again. What is old should be left in the past. And it's this idea, as I said, of servitude, of martyrdom, of sacrifice, self-sacrifice, like giving up your own personal well-being and sense of honest living and truthfulness and expression in life in a certain way, if you choosing to take a sort of path of service. And I think, and here what else we have is the Magician upright with the Two of Cups and the Empress with the Five of Crystals. I feel that what's here is that, again, it's kind of a nod to this idea that like wellness and health and healing is a process that we're all in at all times. It's not like you don't get to a position in life where you are whole and done. If that were true, then you wouldn't be alive anymore. You would transition into another paradigm, I feel. So yeah, the Five of Crystals here with the Empress, I feel like this is speaking to wholeness and health and well-being in the sense that I'm hearing mind over matter. But more I feel like it's connected to this Ten of Swords in reverse, where it's indicating that there needs to be a shedding of old ideas, and transitioning to wellness has a lot to do with a state of being in the mind, in the thoughts, like the understanding how much our thoughts actually impact our sense of well-being and our health. I think there's also something to be said here at this point with that indication to speak on mental health and try to override some of the stigma attached to mental health and give people a space where they feel safe and comfortable to come forward to express their wellness issues or their health issues if they are relating to those issues, and like give a liberation to humanity for the stigma that's attached to mental illness, and give it a valid voice, and give it the space it needs to be understood and to be shared as a space that we all have at times experienced a need for support with. And here you have the Magician with the Two of Cups in reverse. What is that? I feel that there could be something here for some people. This could be a specific message that at this time there may be some changes in personal dynamics with the person that you are relating to on a one-on-one, like romantic relationships could be something that may be brought into better alignment at this time with a heightened sense of practicing magic within a relationship, and coming away from dynamics which may not be as aware and alert and awake to the potential that exists within those kind of dynamics. I like what's here on this half of the reading. You have Magician, Hangman in reverse, and Devil's Play. This feels really powerful. It's with the Two of Cups and the Ace of Crystals. And on this side of the deck, you have Five of Crystals, Eight of Cups, and Five of Worlds. So what it feels like is, on this half, there's like this leaving behind of like stagnant energy, old energy. But it's almost like it within that kind of what's the word? Deteriorating kind of energy that's breaking something down. That's where the fertility is. So it's like utilizing aspects or elements of the past or experience from the past to create like a compost in a way, like to create fertile ground to kind of springboard from and create magic, create newness, create abundance. Two aces in the reading and 2 5s in the reading. What else is interesting here in the reading is that in the 4 quadrants you have major arcana cards. So Empress, Wheel of Fortune, Devil, and Magician. All in the upright position, and it all feels like very beneficial energy shining, like kind of pulsing energy into every aspect of the reading here, where it does feel like there is a kind of purging of old, and in doing that, in that purging of old ideas, old concepts, stagnant energy, like concepts and thought forms that were relevant in a different time period, in a different era, are getting this renewed, refresh energy of like when you create space by like evacuating, eliminating, purging, and letting go, there is a space then for light to kind of come in and embody and shine on and highlight new areas, new concepts, new thought forms. And so there's something here I think about being, how would I describe that? It's like the courage that you need to let something go, to create that space, like to allow for a vacuum to form, knowing that it will become filled with something new soon, but you don't know what that is, and that takes a little bit of courage, because oftentimes that old energy or old ideas, while we may be aware that they are outdated and it's time to move on from them, there is a comfort in the familiarity. And so I think there's something here to be said about, you know, when you do allow that space for the freedom and the space for old ideas to kind of be, you know, letting them move out of relevance to create space for something new, that there is that little moment of uncertainty there where you're not sure what will come next, but it does take courage and it does take a little bit of you know, awareness. But you know, if you've been through this cycle before, and this of course is, as all things are, cycles, you know, you come to realize that it's always better than what you leave behind. So in that way you can kind of build trust and build courage by practicing it in a way that over time you get better at it and it becomes a little bit easier to do. Sage of Crystals, 7 of Cups, both in reverse. 9 of Crystals and 7 of Crystals. 7 of Crystals in reverse. So 2 7s here, both in reverse. And then the Sage of Crystals and the 9 of Crystals. So a lot of swords, crystals, and crystals are the element of air, so it's about thoughts and ideas and concepts. So there was a lot of that already in the reading. Ace, 5, 10, 7, 9, and Sage of Crystals are in the reading. So I do feel that there is a lot of like shedding of ideas going on here at this time period, like really letting go of old concepts, old thought forms that are keeping you in a way in an old framework of who you have been, and opening up to the possibility of who you can become. Allowing magic to work through you. Yeah, it's breaking down of the old stuff. It's like a forest fire, you know, it's devastating when it happens, but then you get that regeneration and that beautiful new growth. I feel that could be it for the general reading here for all signs. Just let me check over. Yeah, I'm going to take the Morgan Greer deck now and shuffle to give readings for each sign. It's going to pull a couple of cards for each sign to give a little bit more specific information about how this energy could be working specifically for each of the different zodiac. And I would recommend here that you watch all of them, because you may not, like, don't be attached to your sun sign and that being the message for you. Just watch all the messages, because inevitably they're all, everything I say on this channel is all timeless, relevant information that is just moving forward, consciousness moving forward. So watch all to the end and just take what works for you, take what's relevant for you, leave the rest behind, and work with what you can. So while I'm shuffling, just tune in again with me and send your energy over into the deck so I can get clear messages for you. So I guess I'll start with Aries, right? April, Aries. We're going to start with Aries since it's the Aries month and work our way around. So for Aries, we have the 3 of Wands reversed and the 5 of Swords reversed. So what I feel is here, and both of these cards came out actually. I just did earlier today I did the Pisces reading, and both of these cards were in the reading. What I feel is here is that this is about you kind of eliminating a defeatedness energy. Like you might be in a period of time now where you kind of feel a little bit overwhelmed with the energy of continued effort. You might be having kind of continuing to put effort into something and feeling defeated because it's not working out, or it seems like it's not working out. But what this is feeling like to me is that there is a need here to kind of refresh your energy. And maybe the reason why something hasn't been working out is because you've been approaching something using the old methods that are not really relevant anymore. So this could be about seeking redress within, like addressing where it is maybe that you have limitations within your mind and your thoughts that is preventing a success from happening. It could also be about redefining your goals. Like this 3 of Wands in reverse could be saying that you might need to move the goalpost if it's not working out. If something's not working out for you, if you're not able to kind of achieve something in an area that you've been really striving for and working towards for a while, you might need to redefine your goals and or redefine the process that you use to get you to where you're trying to go. Okay, there needs to be some changes, changing your mind, changing your ideas. Okay, that was Aries. Now we have Taurus, 10 of Swords in reverse with the Star. I like this. This feels to me like there needs to be a shedding of ideas, more swords coming out. Again, the crystals and the swords are both air elements. So this feels like putting down, again, limiting ideas and working with the energy of the Star here. The Star card brings optimism, hopefulness, inventiveness, a kind of pioneering energy, like forward thinking, futuristic, facilitating energy. So what I feel is here is that, again, if there's kind of like been a lack of hope or some kind of like almost, again, similar to this, like sort of defeated energy, there needs to be you need to hit the refresh button on that and kind of like if you're in a loop in your mind, you need to kind of step outside of your thought form pattern that's been going on and just witness it for a moment and make changes, because there's something going on there where it feels like you're in a loop. You may be in a loop with some kind of ideas or a way of processing information that you're dealing with that is striving towards something which is feeling like a little tired. There's a sort of tired energy with it, and there needs to be a shift there in the way you think about your process and your goal. Again, similar to this previous here with the Aries reading, but channeling more of this Star energy where you really like invoke a space of like real fresh optimism and newness to a situation, bringing more hopefulness to it, and in doing so creating the space for like solutions to arise that may not necessarily be things that are in your like consciousness awareness right now, but something new to come in. Create space for something new. Gemini, 9 of Cups reversed and the Knight of Pentacles. So what I feel is here is that if you've been feeling a little bit like also a lack of hopefulness or maybe a little bit of a loss of willpower or loss of functioning, I'm hearing, like if you're feeling a little bit like this feels a little bit again like physical exhaustion, I feel like there needs to be also a refresh and a recommitment to an idea or a plan, and a dedication to the self of commitment and discipline to work towards actually achieving that sense of contentedness and fulfillment and wholeness that you know is yours to have. So yeah, hit the refresh button and recommit to your path, recommit to your goal of health and wellness and wholeness, and I'm hearing sensitivity as well. But I think there could be something there specifically for someone. If you may be dealing with an allergy and it keeps flaring up and you can't figure out why, just keep committing to figuring it out and don't give up, because sometimes you just have to keep trying different things. And yeah, you might get tired of it and you might get frustrated, but just keep going, don't give up. The answer is there. And sometimes it's not about like, maybe you've tried the solution already, but you had the dose wrong or the quantity wrong or something, and it doesn't mean that thing doesn't work. It just means you have to really adjust in the most macro way, a very slight nano kind of change or tweak in the dosage or in the, whatever it is that you're adjusting. Look for a small change rather than like eliminating everything and like getting frustrated. Just make small changes. So that was Gemini. Cancer, 6 of Wands and 6 of Swords in reverse. What is this? 6 of Wands upright and 6 of Swords in reverse. Cancer. I feel that what this is speaking to is that if you've had a success in the past and it gave you confidence, be careful not to keep trying to go back to that same solution from the past, because it may not work the second time or another time. So don't always rely on what worked in the past. You have to keep searching and looking forward to new solutions, to new, what's the word? New features, new functions. Like, don't keep relying on what worked in the past, because it may not work again the next time. So don't rely on what's tried and tested, but keep moving forward to find new solutions and new results. Okay, Cancer. Leo. We have Page of Pentacles reverse and the Fool in reverse. Okay. Some of you may be waiting for news from someone. It may not be like a communication in words, but you might be waiting for some kind of event or activity of someone else to give you a kind of a green light to go ahead with something. And the message here, I feel, is that's not the right action. Don't wait for someone else's indication to move forward in what you see as your path or your direction. There's also like there's something here also about patience and impatience and hesitation and rushing energy. Like, it's fine. I think finding the balance here between feeling like all systems go and rushing ahead in something, and just taking slow, steady, calculated steps towards something. Be patient, but don't wait at the same time. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. That was Leo. After Leo we have Virgo, 9 of Wands reversed and the 7 of Pentacles upright. Okay. Nine of Wands in reverse. So some of you may be feeling like you want to give up on something. You may have just feel like you've reached the limit of what you can like physically and emotionally deal with in a particular issue. But this is suggesting here that you actually have like a great reserve of physical and emotional energy to carry on and keep going with something. It's just about a state of mind. It's about an adjustment of a state of mind. Like, look at the expression on this character's face. Like, super chill, unbothered, right? So that's the key to getting back to the space of like finding the willpower and the courage to keep going with something, is to just have a mental reset and remind yourself that at the end of the day, whatever it is that's making you feel irritable or triggered or bothered or whatever is actually kind of minor in the grand scheme of things. And you can dig deep to find like a second win or a third win, or like find a refresh by kind of having an attitude adjustment, I guess it is. But knowing that like you do have what it takes to continue, and you may not want to give up on whatever it is that you're working with, because it looks like it has the potential to really bring nice returns. Whether we're talking about an investment of a physical kind, or if this is just about your own personal like experience, you know, like you giving up on you. This is about you not giving up on yourself. It's not about an investment of something external. This is about you not giving up on yourself. Overcoming frustration and irritability and this wanting to give up, and just digging deep to kind of keep going, because you can. You absolutely can. So that was Virgo. Libra, Two of Swords in reverse and Ace of Wands upright. So some of you may be having a moment here where the blindfold is coming off and you are actually able to access a truth, something which you had for maybe some time been in denial of, like something that you may not have wanted to be aware of or be witness to or be responsible for. It's saying here that you are actually coming finally to the resolve of understanding that not only is it okay to accept the truth, but it's vital for you in order to be able to move forward. And I think for some of you, you may also be coming out of a stagnancy time now, because you have been able to acknowledge and accept a certain truth, and that is what is releasing a great amount of vitality and life force energy that you're able to now channel into something new. Always be honest. There's no point in not. So that was Libra. Scorpio, Page of Swords in reverse and 10 of Pentacles upright. So what is this? Page of Swords reverse and 10 of Pentacles upright. I'm feeling that for some of you, this is about kind of closing a cycle or closing the door on some kind of it's something to do with a thread that you've been kind of, a trail of breadcrumbs that you've been following back from your current existence, like your current state of being, your current age, your current paradigm, whatever, wherever you are right now. You've been kind of following this trail of breadcrumbs back to something to collect clues about why it is that something is the way it is right now. And I feel like this is a moment where you could either be collecting that information and having a light bulb moment and realizing what that was, or you could be realizing or understanding that you can just, like, you don't have to keep pursuing that. It's not necessary to your healing or your understanding. Either is okay, right? You can keep studying and discovering and exploring and searching for. But I think it's also important here to note that you could also just accept whatever it is, and not necessarily need to find an answer in order to feel like you can move forward and create a healing or a transition or a shift, or, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm talking about? Either or. But I think what you're understanding here is that your ability to heal and resolve a current issue that you're dealing with is not dependent on finding and locating the source of that trail of breadcrumbs, or the beginning of that trail of breadcrumbs. It doesn't matter. You can, and it would help, and for sure it will be beneficial and useful, but at the same time you can also like deal with and process information about whatever it is that you're trying to resolve by accepting it and understanding that change can occur from the place of acceptance. That was Scorpio. Sagittarius, Page of Cups reversed and 4 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. I'm hearing change your mind. So perhaps something that you were really interested in or really like keen to do or activate on, like some kind of new project or new idea that was interesting to you, is kind of like it's maybe rapidly like not interesting anymore. Maybe the battery ran out there. So as I was saying, if there was a project that you were really excited about, that it recently came about, or something that a creative venture or an idea or something that you had, maybe something that you even had already started kind of recently, you may have realized pretty quickly that it wasn't for you and it wasn't something that you wanted to keep putting energy into. And this feels to me like, as I was describing, how do I put that into words? Sort of in a flippant way, it's like, okay, whatever, but it's not a kind of arrogant whatever that's actually not really accepting. It's that, like, that kind of whatever. It's more like you are just throwing energy around, but you may actually still be pissed off and resentful. This is not that. This feels like a really mature and emotionally intelligent acceptance of a decision that you worked forward with that actually turned out not to be quite what you wanted or needed. And so this is sort of a quick change of pivot in direction that feels much more in alignment with your own truth, and there's no residual left over. There's no like ongoing calculation of loss. This is like a sweeping acceptance and moving on from something without kind of carrying forward any energy that needs to be processed again later. Capricorn, Tower reversed, and the Knight of Cups. Some of you may need to work on, again, accepting that there has been a pretty major change in your life, and that if there has been some kind of difficult or even, I don't want to say traumatic, but if you've been in a difficult experience just recently, what it's saying here with the Tower in reverse and the Knight of Cups is saying that the best way to work with this energy and process it, to sort of get back on your feet, is to really work with accepting everything that was and is. Acceptance. Again, this theme has been coming up again and again this month through all the readings. So acceptance is the fastest way to acceptance and truthfulness, because acceptance really is about honesty, right? But working with an energy of really like not trying to avoid what's there, but actually really being completely present to it. Because seeing the Tower in reverse, he sort of says to me that you may be trying to minimize sort of a transition or a change that's happening, but it's a little bit dangerous to try to do that. It's better, you'll be much better off to the situation to completely surrender to any kind of transformation that's happening by accepting where you are, just like fully accepting where you are, surrendering to the energies that you are processing and facing and dealing with. And from that place you can kind of rise up in love and compassion, and there can be a healing that happens through it. Okay? The Knight of Cups is offering healing here. This is not about a new romantic offer or something. This is about like self-love and a process of clearing and resolving and nurturing the self through acceptance of what has been, what transgressions have occurred, and working with all the feelings that you're experiencing right now in the way of like total submission to, in a way. And just processing them as you can without trying to avoid. That's Capricorn. Aquarius, Sun reversed and Moon. Wow, that's interesting. The Sun is reversed and the Moon is upright. I feel that, what is this? I feel that there could be here it feels like there's something big being revealed here. Something there may be something coming to light here about yourself that you previously have not been aware of, but you may have been invoking through your own, your own personal desire to kind of evolve and grow, like by just simply being on your path. There may be a revelation that's coming to light here, where something from deep in the subconscious is being illuminated. And this could be some kind of information that's coming to light through a reflection with another person. It could be your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, or even a close friend, like someone that you really trust a lot, who's able to share a certain space with you where you can actually like get deep into certain things. There could be some like understanding, a really big, deep understanding here that's it's very much helping you to move forward in a way where you may be able to kind of alchemize and let go of some kind of limiting structure or belief or feeling about yourself that's been holding you back in a certain way. So this is a very beneficial energy I'm feeling here. Pisces, 10 of Wands and 6 of Cups. Some of you need to let go of a past relationship, that something that you like an old relationship or old romantic relationship that you may be feeling still nostalgic about, even though it may have been long over. I feel like there's some emotional cords that are tying you to a person that's preventing you from being available energetically to new love coming in. Whether or not you're in a romantic relationship or not, whether or not this is about like a boyfriend or a girlfriend or not, there is something here about like needing to let go of some type of memories. There's some memories that may be playing out, and I feel like for some of you what this is suggesting is that the memory that you are reliving about a situation or a person is actually not accurate. You have cords of attachment to something from the past that actually you are not remembering in the way that it actually was. You may be fantasizing about something. You may be living out like an experience that actually never occurred because you're not remembering what really happened exactly the way it happened. So there's something here about letting go and moving on from like a loop. There's a loop going on here, some kind of memory being repeated that you would do very well to be able to put it down finally once and for all and let go of it and just move forward. Like clear the repetition of this like memory being played out again and again, because it's keeping you stuck in the past and it's causing melancholy. That's what I feel. It's causing melancholy. That was Pisces. So that's that we've been through all of the zodiac now. So as I mentioned, I hope that you watch all of that there and just take what you need from each of those little snapshots, because any of it could be relevant for you. Don't be attached to your sun sign. That was a reading for the moon cycle from the new moon on April 4th to the full moon on April 19th. I hope you found that insightful. I hope there's things there that you can work with and utilize for your life. It's an honor and a pleasure to read for you. Thank you so much for your subscription. I look forward to seeing you in next month's reading.